Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yep.
So take two. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. As you can see, this is the moving edition because next week I will not be in the same setting. I'm going to be somewhere else. But Steven, what's been good? What's been up with the quick slants?
Penn State got the W last weekend against Indiana on the road. We have Maryland this coming weekend up in State College. In the home stretch, got final 3 games left of the season, trying to go 10-2. Quick slants will be out same time tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time on Twitter. Go follow the Quick Slants on Twitter at the Quick Slants. Nothing too crazy. It's starting to get that time of year as well where a lot of players are declaring or saying they'll come back for another year, whatever. Penn State's got a couple guys that are in that boat. So that'll be something that we talk about down the road. Trying to gather some end of the season guests to talk about the year and in the time between the end of the season and the bowl game, all that kind of stuff. So most importantly, tomorrow, same time, 8:30, Quick Slants.
Yes, sir. So that's a big thing. If you end up paying attention to Steven last week or even listen to the Quick Slants, you heard his thoughts on the Maryland game and then also how they would get the W over Indiana, but it's more so focusing on the remainder of the schedule.
I'm pretty much right every week, though. I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not like 100% accurate on like scores and like yardage, but like, what's gonna happen? I'm pretty accurate. I'm pretty spot on.
So
minus Ohio State and Michigan, but
yeah, but the way Steven starts off the season is the same every year. I did want to give Steven his flowers, and I haven't done this in years. If everyone remembers, we were watching the draft one year, and he brought up Christian Hackenberg, and I gave him grief for that for years. He made up for it for one player in particular who is legit the best player on the Bears defense now, and Steven knows exactly what I'm talking about. Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah.
And they talk about him every single week, saying that he is a stud for that defense. He is the anchor for that defense, and he does so much. To make that defense good, they almost need to build it around him, especially when you end up getting rid of Roquan Smith. You definitely have to focus on Jaquan Brisker as well. So yeah. It's also Nick at Night over here for everyone. If you get the reference, you are old enough. I want to touch on the spaces as well, because within the spaces, it was something important that did happen. So within the spaces, we have to talk about what happened with FTX. For everyone that doesn't know, yes, I do a lot of it on NFTs, but this week and last week, we can't really talk about NFTs. I also gave Steven the heads up that I'll probably be talking about this for 3 to 4 minutes. So for anyone listening to this that doesn't really care about cryptocurrency or finance, you can just skip over this. I'm also going to talk about Meta for everyone out there that doesn't know that. But FTX. So FTX was the cryptocurrency exchange. For those that probably are like, all right, I might have heard of it. You have heard of it because it's the name of the Miami Heat's arena. It's called the FTX Arena. Gisele Bündchen and Tom Brady are investors in FTX, and also Naomi Osaka are investors in FTX. But the big part about it is the owner, Sam Bankman-Fried, went from being a $15 billion owner of the company, but also worth $15 billion. So now he's only worth $999 million. That was according to yesterday. But also with that being said, they were saying that the company was solvent for so long, which basically means you have the funds to end up making sure that all of your holders that use your exchange are taken care of if they ever withdraw. And it come to find out they were insolvent. So they don't have the funds to end up paying every single cryptocurrency, well, every single holder or person that uses that exchange to trade. So that's a big red flag. The other red flag is if you were trying to withdraw off the exchange, you couldn't. All withdrawals were put on hold. That's always a red flag when you're not able to withdraw your funds off of the cryptocurrency exchange. And on top of that, they were going to get bought out. Well, they were going to get acquired by Binance, but Binance signed a LOI, which means letter of intent to end up acquiring the company. They're not doing that anymore after looking at the books, which means love everyone to death, but which means they're fucked, for lack of better words, because with FTX, there's so much shit that they're not showing you guys right now. A lot of this started 41 days ago, apparently, when the president stepped down, and you started to see different transactions being made, also with their sister company, Alameda Research. And all of this being said, they won't have the money to pay you back, and they won't be able to do that until like they're acquired, when they file for bankruptcy, and then someone else picks them up. Same thing that happened when they did with Voyager and so many other companies. And the big thing with this being said is a lot of the companies that paid for Super Bowl ads, they are not going to be doing well. If you look at crypto.com, they had a lot of ads. Fortune favors the brave. A lot of you probably remember that. If you look at Carvana, even in stock market, they're in the shithole too. If you look at their stock, and just looking at what FTX did, they did so many acquisitions so fast. They tried to buy up so many, and Sam Bankman-Fried thought he could outsmart everybody, and it turns out that he's just another Do Kwon. For everyone that doesn't know who Do Kwon is, he was the founder of Luna, and they found out his algorithmic stablecoin was some shit. And same with this. They realized that when they were making these deals, they were using just their own cryptocurrency, which was FTT, and Binance had over $2 billion worth of that. And that's where I'll just start and stop for you all right there. It's going to only get worse. Cryptocurrency as a whole lost $200 billion within like the past 48 to 72 hours because of it. The part that I'm excited for is I talk about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin every single week. I talk to different people about it. I am so excited this time around because I know what is happening. In the past, I was the one on the other side. So I feel for everybody out there that is like, shit, all my money's gone. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going to happen in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Like, it's going to go on forever. It's not. And the reason why I say that is because they say that about the stock market. They say it about Bitcoin. They say it about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is worth over $700 to $800 billion of a market cap. It's not going to end up dying off forever. It's one of those phases right now that everything is pulling back. If you look at all the different companies within the public sector that are not keeping all their workers, they're laying them off. Some have laid off 10% of the workers, hashtag to Shopify. Some have laid off 40 to 50%, hashtag to Elon Musk. And if you don't have verification by your name, I don't believe in you, aka LeBron James with the Z.
Dude,
But
I need to get one of those.
But that's mainly what I want to say when it comes to the FTX. I will continue to update you all as for me, and then what like I've done with my company. I've sold a lot of the NFTs that we have held. I just did it for other reasons. I didn't realize this was going to happen. But this is the second time I came out damn near scotch-free with these crazy things. Luna, I didn't have to worry about, and then this. But it's because I've lost so much money. If I told you the amount of money I've lost with scams or like different algorithmic things, it's insane. Moving over into the layoffs that have happened, Meta is the big one. Meta and Mark Zuckerberg have announced that starting tomorrow, so congratulations to everybody on your Thursday that is about to have a shitty day. Meta is letting go of 11,000 workers. And what they have said is that's basically 10 to 13% of the total employees that they have. So when you do the math on that, Meta has over 100,000 workers. Like, that's really what that says. If 10 to 13% and you're laying off 11,000, so you have over 100,000 people you have employed. It's only going to get worse when everyone is saying that it's not a recession. We are in a recession. I hate to tell you guys the bearer of bad news, but when you have numerous companies, you have Shopify, you have Snap, you have Twitter, you have Coinbase, you have Lyft, and you have all these other companies laying off more than 5% of your staff, you're doing it because you hired too many people too soon during COVID, and now you really can't take them on because we're going into a recession, so you need to have more cash on your books. One thing I do want to end up asking you, Steven, what are your thoughts? Because I know you hear about this, and these are the big name companies. And we've both been in those situations of knowing what it feels like to end up being let go or being on the other end of that and still having to deal with family, deal with everyday expenses. What are your thoughts when you hear either Meta or I can't put Elon into it because Elon said everybody that was not coming into his office, y'all are gone. 40 or 50%. But what are your thoughts when you hear about all these layoffs that are happening from these big name companies?
It definitely sucks. Like you just said, I totally understand it. Um, Friday, especially, so I had a similar situation with the last company I was with. So Friday is actually going to be my 2-year anniversary with the company I'm with now. So shout out to your
Okay.
boy for not
Shout
getting
out.
fired yet. So
I
that's
know.
cool. I know my wife's happy about that. But the company I was with was a tech startup company. Like I think
Mhm.
we all know where this story is going.
Yeah.
Um, it was a Silicon Valley company. Stop me if you've heard that before.
Mhm.
It's like the company I'm in now is in the industry. It's a computer aided design, CAD for short, software. So like they do like architectural designs and entertainment designs, all that kind of stuff. So it's a very small market of softwares that do that. The one that I was with was a company that did like IT operations, like IT management. So like there's a ton of companies that do that. So our company
Mhm.
was like 4 or 5 years old. No one knew about it. It was called, actually, I'm not gonna say what it's called. Because whoa,
I know.
whoa, yo, hold on. That was close. That was the quickest I've ever caught myself from not
Exactly.
saying something ever. I think that
I was like,
was
hold up. Is he just gonna keep going?
that was quick. Okay. So um so anyway, um we went out there, we had a our sales kickoff meeting out in San Jose where the company was based at.
Mm.
And they had like right after that was February of 2020. So like literally we were heading out there when COVID was heading into the US. Like we were flying
Mhm.
into LAX when shit was coming over here. So
Damn.
yeah, it was nuts. But they had just secured another round of funding. I think it was like their C series round of funding, which is a big thing
Mhm.
for companies. They
Yeah.
had secured, I think, $35 million. So like they were not like there was no discussions about potential layoffs. There was no discussions about like them being worried. Like from like the top down, everyone was like, we're okay. Like, even if we don't get any business for the next X amount of months or like a year, we still
Yep.
have enough money to like, coming in to like pay our employees and all that. And then April 11th of 2020, I would like never forget it. I was supposed to have a one-on-one with my supervisor that day just to chop it up. And like we were already like company was already kind of like going downhill. Not like in terms of business, but like it was like things were at that point things were shutting down.
Mhm.
So you didn't know what was going on, and it was like COVID was just starting to ramp up, so everyone was confused as hell. And he kept pushing my one-on-one meeting back, and I'm like, oh damn, like I'm like in my head I'm not trying to think about it like that, but
Mhm.
my wife being the genius that she is, she's like, dude, you're gonna like get let go. Like
Yeah.
just face it. I'm like, no, it's just he's just moving it up for whatever reason. He calls me and I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, are you free? I'm like, yeah, like we're having our meeting. So I go to my office, which at the time was a closet in our old house. And he's like, I gotta let you go. I'm like, what? No, bro,
What?
just like that. Like, just like that. He's like, I gotta let you go. And I'm like, please tell me it's not just me. Like, please tell me this isn't like a performance thing or like, something like that. He's like, no, we're like 90% of the company got laid off
Mhm.
within 2 days. And that happened to a lot of people during COVID. A lot of companies like that, small
Yeah.
companies, like they were keeping the people who had been there the longest, and like obviously like the CTOs, the CIOs, and all those people, and they were keeping like a couple people on the sales team, but like, you know, boom, just like that. And like you're seeing like the companies who kept all those people, and it's kind of like starting to flush out again, where they're
Mhm.
having those conversations, and they're probably like back in the day they were like, we have all the money to keep you, so like we'll keep
Yeah.
you. But now
Yeah.
it's like the revenue or like the revenue stream isn't what it was. You're trying to like catch up. You're trying to because you had your potential growth from 2020 to 2021, so you're trying to
Mhm.
match what you missed out on from that gap. You like how your boy's dropping the business knowledge right
He
now?
is
You like
exactly. I was
that? You like
impressed.
that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like that? So that's kind of where our company's at now. So we've already exceeded our goal for the year for our sales team and everything and the revenue for our sales team. So now we're trying to play catch up to what we might have lost or where we should have been for 2020. So
Mhm.
that's kind of like how a lot of companies are, but a lot of companies aren't making that right now. They're not bringing in that kind of cash. So now they got to get rid of everybody that they're like that's just useless, with
Mm-hmm.
sales teams, operations, like marketing, shit like that they don't need to try and save some coin and not fully tank.
Yeah.
So it
That.
does suck because I totally understand like the shitty aspect of those things, especially with inflation,
Mm-hmm.
mortgage prices, gas prices, food, all that kind of shit. Like it's a lot worse now to get laid off than it was 2 years ago
Yeah.
because just of how prices are for everything and whatnot. So, um, yeah, I totally can reside in those people's thoughts and be super pissed about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully, people
I,
get good severance packages like I did.
I see. That's the other thing. I hope they do, and they don't end up like the CEO of Twitter who didn't get a severance package at all.
Right, right, right.
But what I do want to let everyone know is this is only just the beginning. This is going to be a big ass trickle down effect of everything because if these people are getting laid off, they don't have a job, which means if they don't have a job, they won't be able to pay certain things.
Yeah,
What is one of the main things that people need in this world? A home. So you're going to start looking at housing costs going down. I'll make this quick so that we can end up going over into sports, but so where my family lives is going to be apparently at one point where the Commanders were thinking about building their new stadium. They purchased land over there and stuff, and the houses there were going for around 490, so 490,000. They just built these townhomes and stuff. Not soon after that, maybe a month or two, they cut the price down to 420,000 because
mm-hmm.
nobody was interested. If you're cutting the price that much on a new house, that's just indicating to you what's going to happen. There's too many listings that are out there. There's not enough buyers that are out there, and it's not going at the speed that you want. Only area where there's certain areas where no matter what people are going to buy, one of those areas, of course, is like the Los Angeles area or Orange County, those areas. But around here, when you see that, that's a huge indication of probably what is to come. And we're just getting started with this year. They also said, here's some knowledge for everyone. One of the biggest builders in Idaho had to slow down building the homes and they had to lay off people. Yes, you're probably like, why did you bring up Idaho? Idaho is one of those up and coming areas that they say there's a lot of land out there. If you look up the big name people, they're buying property in Idaho, Wyoming, and anywhere out there near Yellowstone National Park. So just pay attention to
Oh,
that.
that
More
shit blows
people are
up.
going till it blows up. Exactly. So just
We're
pay
all
attention
fucked, so it
out
wouldn't
there.
matter.
Exactly. So just pay attention to that. Last thing I'll end up bringing up before we end up segueing over to sports is Volvo is coming out with their new electric vehicle. It looked pretty nice, but it's going to be $80,000. So it don't look that nice to me because I'm not going to buy that. But what I wanted to save time for is I want to move over into sports. And before we dive into the normal topics, a huge thing, and it was this morning when I first heard about it, was Brittany Griner. So Brittany
Mhm.
Griner, as everyone knows, Steve and I bring it up all the time, has been in Russian prison system since February. It is currently now November, and now they say they are moving her into like the penal colony or however, whatever that is. And they're saying it's going to be harsher conditions. They were aware that this was going to be happening. They did not know it was going to happen right now. What are your thoughts on all of this and how this has all been handled?
Okay, so I need to preface this by saying I'm not a bad person. Like I don't like what I'm about to say is going to come across very wrong. And I don't want anyone to think that I am a bad person because I'm not. Christian knows how I sometimes I sometimes will text Christian my real thoughts on things and kind of like dumb it down on this because I don't want because Christian knows who I am, knows my thoughts on certain things and how blunt I can be. And a lot of people don't, so they don't understand where I come from with this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not blaming Brittany Griner for like how this is gone over the last like 6 months because it's pretty aggressive, like how deep this has gone and how just really fucked up this whole thing has been. And like she's not coming home anytime soon. I think we can all
Hell
put that.
no.
We can all like we can all agree on that. But here's the thing, and we've seen this with athletes. If we're just talking about athletes, there's stupid people in every walks of life, but
Mm-hmm.
like just talking about athletes because that's what we do. We've seen countless athletes. We'll stick with America that go to airports with guns and drugs, right? Like, why? Like, there's no reason for it, you know? Like, basic humanity says, like, don't take guns or drugs to an airport of
Hmm.
all places. Like, I don't care where you are. So, and we've seen that happen, and a lot of times athletes that when that happens, I can't off the top of my head, I can't think of how many like big time like punishments there has been handed down to those athletes. There was a basketball player or football player like less than 6 months ago who that happened to. I can't remember who it was though. But most of the time they get a slap on the wrist, big fine. There's no jail time. Like they don't go to like a prison. Like they don't go to Leavenworth for 9 months, whatever. But like Brittany Griner, for the love
I
of
know.
God,
I
like
know.
why, like why in the hell would you think it would be a good idea? And you have no idea what the rules are over like anywhere else but the U.S. I don't even know the rules for the United States taking shit to airports. Like,
Hmm.
but of all like to think that it would be okay to take drugs to an airport to a foreign country, let alone Russia of all
Russia,
places,
Russia.
bro,
I
of
know.
all places, one of like the top 3 or 4 countries where like they don't fuck around with anything,
Yeah.
especially the tensions over the last year, like between the US and Russia and then the Ukraine situation. Like, you know me, I don't do politics, I don't do foreign affairs, not even close.
Hmm.
Care less. But you have to be living like you have to be Amish or living under a rock to not know what's happening overseas and to not know like the depth of what's happening between Russia and the United States. And for that to happen, and then to find out that like how like strict they are on the drug stuff, it's just like why?
Yeah.
Why? Now that's her
Exactly.
fault. That's on you for doing that. Now the last 6 months and how they probably treated her and all that stuff, they're trying to make an example. They're trying to do all that kind of stuff. But like, why would you do that?
Hmm.
Like, of all places, Russia, like maybe do it from like Canada coming back, but like
Exactly.
Russia of all places, man, that's the last place outside of maybe like Iraq or like you know North or South Korea. Like Russia is
Hmm.
like the last place where I'm gonna try some sneaky shit and try and smuggle some drugs, albeit less than like the amount of the ink that's in this pen to
Hmm.
come back with that. No chance.
Yeah.
I would just die before I even attempted that. No
Yeah.
way. And so it's very complicated. It's complicated because you don't want like all the shit that's happening here to happen. But like, come on, like, come on, like, what are you doing?
I I feel the same exact way. So I've done a lot of dumb stuff in airports before. I never do the dumb stuff in DC airports. Normally it'll be in like California where their laws are a little bit more lax, like get drunk sometimes and other things might happen. Like, yeah, but I'm not going to do any of this stuff in Russia. I think I joke around a lot. If anyone knows me, I joke around, but I'm not doing anything in Russia. If there's one place I am going to be so dead ass serious and I'm going to make sure everybody with me is not messing it up, it is going to be Russia. And
Oh,
there's so
every
many
rule.
every rule. Yes, you are following every rule. If they yell at you, let them yell at you. If they call you any names, let them call you any names. You're not doing anything. But I need to know if she can speak the language. Because if she can't speak the language, she's done.
Well, I saw that she played over there.
Yes.
So I mean, like I feel like they. Oh, I wouldn't say they knew who she was, but like she kind of stands out
Hell
like a sore
yeah.
thumb. She's a 6'8", 6'9" black girl. Like there's
Yes.
not many of them over in Russia.
It's not.
There's not many of them over in Russia,
No,
dude.
there's not.
Even in the basketball league, I guarantee you she's the only one or one of like
Yes.
two or three.
Yeah. So the worst part about that is she can't even play over here and she can't even play in Russia right now because she is in jail. And yes, I know they would always say if this was LeBron, like he would be out.
I would have flown over there and saved him myself.
Exactly. A lot of people would have, but also LeBron would, and this is the only thing I'm going to say because we'll move on because I know a lot of people come after us. LeBron would have put himself in a situation like that because
Facts.
he would have every single eye on him. And I get what she was doing. I also wonder if it was her first time or what the whole reasoning behind it was.
It's just,
But
oh God.
that shit started in February and we are in November. She's not going to be here for the holidays.
No,
Um,
I know.
Biden, yeah, she's not. Biden is hoping to get her back, but even Steven said it for weeks. Her legal team probably won't hear from her. If your legal team ain't hearing from you for weeks, you're not coming home till
Yeah,
at
if
least
if your
2023.
legal team does not know where you are or where you're going, you ain't coming
Yes.
back. Nope.
No,
Nope.
exactly. And they're trying everything. And the legal team is there. It's not like
Yeah.
legal team is zooming in. The legal
Yeah,
team is
no.
there.
They're not gonna find
So
her.
I I hope for the best. We talked about the WNBA, so I want to segue into the NBA. And I want to get your thoughts on the season before I go on my second soapbox to rant about sports betting with this.
I will be perfectly honest with you. I I can count on one hand how many games I've watched this season.
Because the Lakers aren't good.
Yo, stop. Chill out. That has something to do with it, but I would say I feel like the NBA is just filled with a lot of drama
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of BS like prior to all the Kyrie stuff. And it kind
Mm-hmm.
of just like has been manifesting over the last handful of years. Yeah, the Lakers suck, but like I don't think that I didn't have high expectations for that this season anyways, nor did I have expectations for the Pistons. So like, I just don't feel like and like the product is good. The players are great. There's a lot. I mean, there's what like almost 10 players averaging 30 plus points a game, which is
Hell yeah.
like this, like still this early in the season. That's gonna trickle down to probably like maybe 4 or 5, but still there's so many players that are averaging a shit ton of points and playing
Mm-hmm.
really well. And it's the guys that you'd expect. Luca's averaging, I think, almost 35. Giannis is averaging 34, 33.
Mm-hmm.
He's MVP candidate also, and they're amazing. Like I still know enough to like have a conversation because I follow the stats and I watch the replays and everything. But like, you know, and yeah, no, I'm not staying up at from 10:30 until 1 to watch the West Coast games. I don't care who's playing. I think the Lakers and Clippers
Exactly.
are playing tonight. I might watch 10 minutes in that game and go to sleep. And I will check the score
Mm-hmm.
in the morning. Guarantee Lakers are going to lose.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
in it until LeBron gets past Kareem, which is probably
Mm-hmm.
going to happen like sometime beginning of the year. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what that says about me. That like I'm not watching the NBA, which like I love the NBA, love the athletes that we have, and love the players, but like I just don't care enough
Mm-hmm.
right now. Right now, I think I just don't care enough. Now, once the second half of the season starts and there's playoff races and like it starts to pick up a little bit and the play starts to pick up a little bit more, I'll probably watch it. But like until then, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Just don't care.
Yeah. So my quick thoughts on this one. There are 37 players averaging over 20 points, which is
Mm,
a big deal. There's 7 players that are averaging over 30 points,
that's crazy.
which is insane. Luca is averaging 36 points, and then Steph Curry is averaging 32.6. I This whole season, I don't really know. So BetMGM had like a deal where if you bet $100, they'll give you $40. I was like, oh, this is a sitch. Let me end up choosing certain games, and I bet that the Mavericks are going to end up beating the Magic. That shit didn't happen. First off, why the hell was the game at 5:30? I will never understand. Second, you don't know what's going to happen any given day. There's really no way to end up choosing. Jason Tatum is doing great. Jaylen Brown, they're doing great, but you don't really know what's going to happen. You don't know how trades are going to go. Ben Simmons is coming off the bench. How the hell do you trade all that to end up getting Ben Simmons? He's coming off the bench. Kevin Durant, again, is the only one playing because Kyrie has his issues. You don't really know what's going to go on. The Pistons are looking good with Jaden
I know.
Ivey, and then you have Cade Cunningham, but who the hell knows what's going to happen there? We don't know what's going to happen. And then, just like Steven said, I'm really only going to focus on the back end of the year. There's 2 sports that I do this for, one even less than the other. That's the MLB and that's the NBA. I can never focus on every single game in the NBA because 82 games is too many goddamn games for me to look at every single time. MLB,
Mhm.
forget it. If you can win over 100 games in a season, that's too many games for me to even pay attention to. So that's my big thing with that. I'll let you know how the bets end up going, but I put like 7 to 8 bets and 5 of them already went out the window because I bet the Mavericks in the game and the Mavericks lost. So With that being said, we'll go to the other convoluted, complicated, and who the hell knows what is ever going to happen sport called the NFL. And we do this every single week. So this is nothing different. And we'll get right into it and then we can give our thoughts during it. But the first game is tomorrow with the Falcons and the Panthers. Who do you have?
Falcons.
So I have the Falcons in that one too. I pay attention to the running backs. Cordero Patterson is back, and Deontay Foreman, he had a fluke last week, but they got the shit beat out of them by Joe Mixon, not even the team, Joe Mixon with 5 touchdowns. Five? God damn. Yes, that was over 50 fantasy football points for anyone out there. He could single-handedly beat you if he wanted to, in most weeks. But I have the Falcons in that one. Seahawks and Bucks. And they are playing in Munich, Germany.
I'm going to go with Seattle.
Okay, so this is where the tide will change. I'm going with the Bucks. Tom Brady has to do something. I don't really know what's up with that team.
Tom Brady is 1-0 since his divorce.
I know.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
That was a good comeback. I will say that.
It was, yeah.
I wasn't expecting it the way it happened, but the Rams also are not good. Bills, Vikings.
I'm going to go Vikings. I don't think Josh Allen is going to play. And if he does, it's not. I don't think he's gonna have much of an impact because of where that injury is. It's that the nice elbow area, little Tommy John. So I'm gonna go Vikings. Quietly being 7-1. Who knew?
They are. Yeah. So the Vikings are doing good. Shout out to shirtless Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna do a caveat. If Josh Allen can play, I will go with the Bills. If Josh Allen comes out Saturday and he's not playing, I have the Vikings in that one. I just think it's a threat. So that's my pick for that one. Next game is a pretty cool game because my man is coming around. Bears Lions.
I'm gonna go with the Lions.
Oh shit.
I'm going with the Bears.
Yeah, I got the Bears. I just want to see what Justin Fields can do.
Yeah, killing it. Most rushing yards in the game.
Yeah, what's crazy is, so for everyone out there, here's my 2 cents on this. Apparently during the bye week, the coaching staff said, let's look at what the Ravens are doing with Lamar Jackson and let's look at what the other running quarterbacks are doing. And they finally found like the fountain of youth when this is what the shit they should have been doing the whole goddamn time. But so I got the Bears. Broncos, Titans.
Broncos Nation, let's ride.
Oh my God.
No, I'm going the Titans, even though that was a bad loss last week to the Chiefs.
It was.
I'm going the Titans.
I got the Titans. One thing I will say is I don't think Malik Willis is nowhere close to being ready, or I don't even think they want him to throw the ball, because if they would have thrown it at least once or twice, they could have won the game, and they didn't. There's no reason why they should have come back. But I have the Titans in that one. Next one is Jags and Chiefs.
I'm going the Chiefs. Mahomes threw 68 times last week.
That I didn't believe that.
That just doesn't. That does not make any sense. Also, a crazier stat, real quick. Speaking of Tom Brady is over 100,000 career total passing yards, regular season, postseason. That stat, when I saw that's
unheard of.
I just blew my mind. But Mahomes throwing 68 times in the game is crazy. This early in the season.
Yes. I didn't believe it when I saw it.
That hurts so bad, dude.
Do not be surprised if we start hearing about like football players needing Tommy John surgery or like random surgeries. Because if y'all are throwing that much, it's going to have lasting effects on you. Dolphins, Browns.
Dolphins. They're killing it right now.
Though I don't like Tua playing, I got the Dolphins. Giants, Texans.
I'm gonna go with the G-men.
So I have the Giants in this one too. Texans are just there. Steelers, Saints.
Yep.
So what's crazy enough, I have the Steelers, but we'll move on. Colts, Raiders, and the Jeff Saturday Colts.
I don't even know. I'm not picking this. Can we just not pick this game? Like, can we both just forfeit this game?
I know. That's a bad game.
Can we both have a tie? I mean, if I had to, I'm gonna. I'll go with the Raiders, I guess. I don't fucking know. That's one of the worst games I've seen in a long time on the schedule.
It really is. I don't think I'm picking the Colts at all this year, just because everything that they've done. Packers, Cowboys.
Sounds about white.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. Packers are reeling. This is either gonna be like the turning point for the Packers, or season's gonna start to fall apart. So I'm going with the
Yeah.
Cowboys.
So just like you said, I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to say the Packers because they need to get a win. Like I said with the Raiders, you got to win sometime. Like
You have to.
you got
You
to do
have to.
something. You've lost 5 in a row. Like, come on.
You have
And
to.
it's all because it's Lamar Jackson effect. Just get the man a damn receiver that can catch the ball and do something in the end zone. Cardinals and Rams.
Cardinals.
So I have the Cardinals in this one as well, just because before we got on the show, I found out that Matthew Stafford is in the concussion protocol.
Yes.
So that's a big thing. Chargers, 49ers.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
So I'll say it like Arnold Schwarzenegger said, go Chargers. Two teams you always realize I'm going to choose, Chargers, Ravens. So those are going to be the obvious ones. Commanders and the Eagles.
I'm going Commanders upset, baby.
Uh-oh.
Commanders
Okay.
upset.
It's my 2 cents with this one. It's going to happen soon. I've told my friends they're going to lose. It's just a matter of when they're going to lose. They're not going undefeated. But what you got for everyone?
Shout out to my son Mason. He's been
Shout out.
he's not been a fan of me recently. Very attached to my wife. So he's actually just like been hating me a lot lately. So like everything I do, like he just goes to Brooke and like does like the same thing and like gets the same response and like he just like doesn't he doesn't like daddy right now, which is fine because I have another kid, so that's fine.
Yeah.
The other night he told me he doesn't love me anymore. So that's something to think about. Although I didn't take it personally because he's 3.
Yeah.
Not like he's like a runaway 16-year-old or something like that and telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he's cool. He'll come back around. But yeah, shout out the kids, man. You just never know what they're gonna say or like how they're gonna feel or whatever. So is what it is. But that's it.
Yeah. Shout out to the homie.
Shout
I
out to the
remember
homies.
those times at camp when I used to hear the kids say it to their parents. I was like, well,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Welcome back. But the only things I have is we will be in a new place next week, so get ready for that. Moving this weekend, so we'll see how that ends up going. Other than that, just good luck to everybody with college football at the playoffs. We have not the playoffs I'm actually playing, but college football rankings in the playoffs. We have NBA and we have NFL. Other than that, we out.
Peace.